Now, as soon as most people see XML and HTML compared, they begin to think then all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, what's the big deal? What's the difference between these two ultimately? Well, we already talked about the fact that HTML is a markup language. We use it simply to tell the browser how to make stuff show up. HTML is limited with the standard tags, the H1, the H2, body, table, and so forth. And this is the biggest one. HTML was very forgiving. You could type sloppy code in HTML, open a tag, not close it. The browser would say, I know what he means. I'll just go ahead and do it. It would make assumptions for you, an attempt to show the data. Also, HTML didn't necessarily check for properly nested items and so forth. We'll talk about that later and show you exactly what I mean. But HTML made us really fat and lazy about the way we coded web pages. XML has changed all of that because XML, while it is a markup language very, very similar to HTML, which is a good thing, which means that what you know about HTML has not been wasted energy in learning that. You're still going to apply the same stuff. The big difference with XML is two of them. It's self-describing. I can create my own tags to describe my data so that once the data is delivered to the web browser, I can go back into the raw data and get more information about my data. Now, this is the one that gets most HTML people. It is case sensitive. So if I've got a tag called form in all caps, and then I got another tag called form in lower caps, XML sees these as two different tags. So it is case sensitive, and that'll drive you nuts at first. Also, XML is not forgiving at all. There are some standard structures that have to be satisfied in XML or you can't open the documents. Now, this is huge though, because if I'm going to write a document that's going to pass data to you and you're on a different system than I am, then you're going to have some sort of mechanism to make sure that you know, number one, what's the schema or the structure of this data, and does this data meet any requirements as far as structure or content that I need to accept this data? Also, XML is very standardized, and these standards will change from time to time. And I'll show you some examples as we go through where standardization is sliding a little bit between manufacturers and how it'll be caught up in the future. Now, very important here, XML is not a replacement for HTML. There's a lot of places where HTML is absolutely fine. As a matter of fact, you're going to see in this course, very often we take XML data and convert it to HTML to put it into a browser and format it properly. So you're going to see HTML is still here to stay. Now there is one little caveat to that, and that is XHTML. Now what's happened is we've taken HTML now, and HTML more or less stopped at version 4. The next version of HTML actually became XHTML, which is simply HTML with the rules cleaned up. HTML with XML rules applied. It is case sensitive. It requires proper nesting and so forth. I'll show you an example of that later. But I wanted you to kind of get acclimated to the difference between XML and HTML, because while this is an XML course, you're going to see us use quite a bit of HTML as we move through some of these exercises.